The dark side of pleasure. Stoic insights. There was once a man named Marcus who lived in a great city. He was not poor, but neither was he rich. He had enough to live comfortably, yet he always wanted more. The world around him was full of pleasures. Fine food, expensive wines, beautiful clothes, and grand parties. Marcus saw others enjoying these things, and he wanted them too. He believed that happiness was found in pleasure. The more pleasure he could gather, the happier he would be. At first it seemed to work. He saved his money and bought fine things. He dined in the best restaurants, drank the rarest wines, and wore the softest fabrics. For a short time he felt satisfied. But soon the pleasure faded. The taste of fine food became ordinary. The joy of new clothes disappeared after a few days. The excitement of parties turned into empty noise. Marcus found himself wanting more, always more. No matter how much pleasure he chased, it was never enough. This is the dark side of pleasure. The Stoic philosophers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius understood this truth long ago. They saw that pleasure, when pursued without wisdom, becomes a trap. It promises happiness, but delivers only hunger for more. The more we feed our desires, the stronger they grow. Like a fire that burns brighter with more wood, desire grows with every satisfaction. Seneca once wrote that pleasure is not evil in itself, but the way we seek it can lead us astray. He compared it to a slave master. When we chase pleasure without control, we become slaves to it. We lose our freedom because our happiness depends on things we cannot always have. What happens if the fine food is gone? If the wine runs out? If the money disappears? The person who depends on pleasure for happiness will suffer when it is taken away. The Stoics taught that true happiness does not come from external things. It comes from within. It comes from virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. These are the things no one can take from us. If we build our lives on virtue, we remain strong even when pleasure is absent. Marcus, the man who chased pleasure, learned this the hard way. One day, a great storm struck his city. Floods destroyed the markets. Fires burned the shops. The fine things he loved were gone. The party stopped. The wine was no longer poured. Marcus felt empty, lost. Without his pleasures, he did not know who he was. In his suffering, he met an old philosopher. The philosopher asked him, "Why are you unhappy?" Marcus replied, "I have lost everything that made me happy." The philosopher smiled gently and said, "No, you have only lost what could never truly make you happy." The old man explained the Stoic way. He told Marcus that pleasure is like a shadow. If you chase it, it will always run away. But if you turn toward the light, toward virtue, the shadow will follow you. You do not need to chase it. At first, Marcus did not understand. But slowly, he began to practice Stoic teachings. He stopped chasing pleasure. Instead, he focused on what he could control: his thoughts, his actions, his character. He practiced gratitude for what he had. He learned to endure hardship without complaint. He found joy in simple things: a walk in the morning, a conversation with a friend, the quiet of his own mind. Over time, Marcus discovered a strange truth. The less he chased pleasure, the more he enjoyed life. He was no longer a slave to desire. He was free. This is the wisdom of the Stoics. They do not say we must reject all pleasure. They say we must not depend on it. Pleasure is a guest, not a master. It may visit, but it must not stay too long. If it leaves, we must not mourn its absence. The dark side of pleasure is not the pleasure itself, but the way we worship it. When we believe that happiness comes from outside, we give away our power. The Stoics remind us, happiness is not in the feast, but in the mind that enjoys the feast. It is not in the wine, but in the heart that knows moderation. So ask yourself, are you chasing shadows? Are you running after pleasures that will never satisfy? Or are you building a happiness that cannot be taken away? The choice is yours. Remember the words of Seneca. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more. That is poor. Marcus, in the end, became a wiser man. He lived simply. He enjoyed pleasures when they came but did not cling to them. He found peace in the Stoic truth, that the greatest wealth is wanting less. And in that wanting less, he discovered more than he had ever imagined. This is the lesson for all of us. The dark side of pleasure is an illusion. The light of virtue is real. Turn toward it, and you will never walk in darkness again.